How about them Cowboys? Angry Cowboys fan. Born to battle. Some just means we never sell. America's team through thick and thin. When the sun shines bright, that's where we win. Angry Cowboys fan.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? And angry Cowboys fans around the world. Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. And there's some questions that have been going around Cowboys Nation as well as 105.3 The Fan right now. Is the Dallas Cowboys defense better than where it saw itself last year? On Friday's episode of Shan and RJ on 105.3 The Fan, Shan, RJ, and Bobby Belt spoke about if the Dallas Cowboys defense is better after the acquisitions made by the Dallas Cowboys front office. So we're going to take a listen to the 3 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, angry Cowboys fans, let's take a listen to what the guys over on Shan and RJ had to say.
I think it's better because I think it's deeper. I don't think it's like there's like they still don't have.
You've lost Osa. We think you're losing Clowney.
Mm-hmm.
We know that they were one of a handful of teams who had no one signed by other teams, so that speaks to
How bad they were.
And they would say they purged those players. They didn't lose them.
You get Jalen Thompson, Arizona safety. You trade for Rashawn Gary. You now get the corner from the Rams, and then you have your backups in P.J. Locke and the nose tackle from the Chargers.
I think that they're still without. They still need a couple more. I was going into the offseason thinking, man, they need like 7 starters on defense.
Well, we're at 3.
Yeah, so we're halfway there almost.
With 2 draft picks.
Yep. So I think though any warm bodies were going to be better than what they had last year. Are they better from if they were 30th last year? Are they 12th? No. Are they 20th? I could see 20th.
All right, as of that video, nobody had picked up any free agents from the Dallas Cowboys. Well, now Jalen Tolbert has went to Miami. Godspeed on his career. And Wanye Thomas has went to the Indianapolis Colts. Godspeed on his career as well. But you know, Cowboys Nation, I know there's a lot of Cowboys fans out there that really don't care too much about what Shan, RJ, or Bobby Belt have to say, but I'd have to agree with them in this assessment. I believe that the Dallas Cowboys defense is better than what it was last year. I know that's a pretty low bar to cross, but I believe with the additions that the Dallas Cowboys have made so far, it has set this defense up to be even better this year. It also set Christian Parker up with the type of players that he has envisioned for this defense. But let's go ahead and jump into the second clip so we can come back and talk about it. Go ahead and roll that second clip.
They're definitely better. To me, there's not a question that whether or not they're better or not. They're better than they were at the end of last season. They're better than they were at any point last season. The question will be how much better they can become. So, depending on who they get with the 2 first-round picks, depending on if they can get...
Are you surprised that there's this amount of argument that they're not even better right now than last year?
No, because I know the fans are so... Just flat out. You guys, rightfully so, a lot of times do whine. The Cowboys fans whine. And then they
fans whine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but they're like Cowboys fans. It's been 30 years, and so they have a tendency to nothing's good enough. They generally are not happy. Everybody, like all these people now that are going, you better not let George Pickens go. It's the same thing of all the people who were complaining that Osa was traded were also the ones going, he was overpaid, and why'd you sign the deal? And like it's a constant unhappiness, which is fine. You can be unhappy if you want. They're better. If they go out there tomorrow, they are not the worst defense in the NFL anymore.
Bobby Belt is definitely in agreement that the Dallas Cowboys defense is better this year. And he's absolutely right about it depending on who the Cowboys pick for those 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. He had a few things to say about the Dallas Cowboys fan base, which kinda rings true, Cowboys Nation. No move will be good enough for this entire fan base. Something that I'm quickly learning is that this Dallas Cowboys front office will never make 100% of the Dallas Cowboys fans truly happy. There's always going to be those people who complain about whatever this front office puts together. Now let's go ahead and jump into the third clip where Shan RJ talks about the loss of Osa Odighizuwa and how the fan base took it. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that so we can come back and unpack this raw and uncut.
Yeah, I agree that they're better. Like, you upgraded at safety. No doubt about it, right? Everyone likes the Thompson pickup. And then Wolchuk said it kind of yesterday on G-Bag. If Clowney and Gary were both on the market, who would you go ahead and sign, with the money kind of being about the same? And the answer would be Rashawn Gary. So even while I'm not thrilled about losing Clowney, if that ends up being the case, I still feel like I'm getting an upgrade in Rashawn Gary. Now, yes, you lost Osa. Y'all, stop pretending like you loved Osa Odighizuwa last year. Stop. That's I'm not going to go as far as Bobby, talking about a whiny fan base, but this revisionist crap, it's like loving Kellen when you crapped on him or loving Dan Quinn when you crapped on. Stop. Someone may get hurt and you needed Osa Odighizuwa to step into that role up front. As of right now, he's a $20 million backup who Christian Parker did not love in his fit and scheme. So I'm very happy to get a third-round pick. So, yeah, you lost Osa. Okay, you lost an underwhelming backup who was a really nice guy.
That's the thing. An underwhelming backup for your scheme at this point.
Yes.
He's going to be. I think he's going to be a good player as a starter in San Francisco. I think.
I'm gonna keep it a buck, Cowboys Nation. There were a number of fans who were complaining and shitting on Osa Odighizuwa last year. Talking about how he was getting blown out of gap assignments, how he wasn't big enough to hang on the defensive line, or how he lost his edge after Micah Parsons was traded. When the news came down that Osa Odighizuwa was being traded for a third-round pick, some of the same fans complained about the draft compensation that the Dallas Cowboys received for him and how Christian Parker could have used him on the team this year. One thing we fail to realize is that Christian Parker is the orchestrator of these entire defensive moves. We'll dive into that more right now, but y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Get ready for the angry Cowboys fans, raw and uncut.
Keeping it real, man. Keep it real. That's real.
Well, Cowboys Nation, I do believe with my heart of hearts that this Dallas Cowboys defense is better than where it was last year. I'm going to have to agree with Shan RJ as well as Bobby Belt from 105.3 The Fan. The defensive coordinator switch alone makes this defense so much better. We all was able to bear witness to how Matt Eberflus had this defense looking last year. Like I said in my previous video, I don't believe that the talent drop-off was so astronomical by losing Micah Parsons and a few other role players that the rest of these guys on the defense didn't know what to do. Not to mention that the fact that this defense looked like ass even after Quinnen Williams was acquired by Jerry Jones. The only way this defense is going to be worse is if Christian Parker is worse than Matt Eberflus was for our Dallas Cowboys. Even if you take a look at the individual players that were allowed to test free agency as opposed to the players that were brought into the Dallas Cowboys, I would say each player was an upgrade from what we had here previously. Both P.J. Locke and Jalen Thompson are upgrades over Donovan Wilson. Rashawn Gary being younger than Jadeveon Clowney helps him to become better. That's if he's not better already. The duo of Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams is a better duo than Osa Odighizuwa and Solomon Thomas, and I feel our cornerback room added a better player to its position group. So how can some of the fan base say that we haven't gotten better? Of course, none of us knows how Christian Parker will turn out as the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, but we can't sit there and act as if it doesn't seem promising, that it doesn't make the team better by proxy. The way he's presented his plan, the way he's approached his job in the game of football, I feel there is hope with that young man leading the defense each and every week for our Cowboys. Let's not act as if all of us didn't feel 10 times better after that introductory press conference from Christian Parker. And as far as Osa being traded to the San Francisco 49ers, When Christian Parker was hired as the defensive coordinator, a lot of Cowboys fans predicted that Osa Odighizuwa would be on the chopping block. He would be a casualty of the new defensive coordinator. I feel that Christian Parker is looking for that stocky guy, that beefy guy, that big back guy to play defensive tackle. This is why they brought in Otito Obonya for the defensive tackle position. This is why I feel you will see Jay Toya being more involved in the rotation this year. Osa was the tweener for the Dallas Cowboys, and it wasn't going to work for the defense that Coach Parker was looking to implement. Also, there were a number of people in Cowboys Nation who was giving Osa Odighizuwa the business during last season, complaining about how he was falling off ever since he didn't have Micah Parsons to take on the double teams and allow him to eat. Talking about he fell off after he got paid. When Jerry Jones paid Osa, there were people who were saying that he didn't deserve it, even though he gave the Dallas Cowboys a team-friendly discount. He could have went to the Washington Commanders under Dan Quinn, but he gave them the discount. Now that they traded him and got a third-round pick for him, those same Cowboys fans are dissing the front office for it. So which one is it, Cowboys Nation? Did you want Osa Odighizuwa to stay with the team where he wouldn't be getting that much playing time because he was a tweener? Or did you want him to go because he wasn't going to get the job done and you could get a third-round pick for him? You could get another top 100 pick. You can't have your cake and eat it too, Cowboys Nation. And Bobby Belt was right about the fact that if you like Christian Parker so much, this is all Christian Parker's brainchild. Christian Parker's the one building this, Cowboys Nation. All the moves that have been made are not solely from Jerry and Stephen Jones. Those cuts on the defensive side of the ball came from Christian Parker himself. These were players that he felt didn't fit his scheme. And sure, yeah, you could tailor your scheme around the players around you, but if you can move off a player to potentially get a player that will fit your scheme better, you go out and you do just that, Cowboys Nation. What's that old saying? Work smarter and not harder. But y'all know I got to comment on what Shan Sharif said about Cowboys Nation. I hate to admit it, Cowboys Nation, he does have a point. Whether it's the 30-year drought or whatever it is, each offseason there's a section of Cowboys Nation who will never be pleased. No matter what the Dallas Cowboys do during the offseason, there will be those fans who say they didn't do enough. Those fans who expect Jerry and Stephen Jones to go out there and acquire all the top players each and every offseason. I know that Jerry Jones shouldn't come out and say those buzz phrases like bust the budget or going all in, but at the end of the day, if this is something that Jerry Jones does on a constant basis every single year, then we should be used to it and expect it, right, Cowboys Nation? Each and every year, some fan gets pissed off at the same time during the offseason. You can set your watch to it, Cowboys Nation. This is why I recommend to you every start of the year to temper your expectations a little bit, especially during free agency. If they do acquire the top talent, then you can be pleasantly surprised instead of being pissed off every year when they don't. How many times do we have to put our hand on the stove before we figure out that it's freaking hot and it's going to burn and we're not going to do it again? But you see, Cowboys Nation, I understand that there's this feeling that Jerry and Stephen Jones are moving different this year, but that doesn't constitute the nation completely forgetting about how they've worked in the past. It doesn't mean that you let your guard down and put 100% trust in the front office. Have your reservations when they say things like, we're going to bust the budget or we're going to go all in. Make them show you instead of just telling you. And at the same time, just because we didn't pick up Max Crosby or Minka Fitzpatrick or Trey Hendrickson or Devin Lloyd doesn't mean that they're not going to bust the budget. As of right now, the Dallas Cowboys have approximately $22 million in salary cap. George Pickens' franchise tag, Brandon Aubrey and TJ Bass as tenders. They've been subtracted from the cap, leaving $22 million so that the Dallas Cowboys can go out there and get their green dot linebacker and still have enough to afford their draft class. And I believe that the notion of busting the budget, it'll never be met, Cowboys Nation, because to some in the fan base, busting the budget means going out there and acquiring the biggest names in free agency. That was never going to happen, Cowboys Nation. I'm not saying that Jerry Jones wasn't willing to bust the budget because he aggressively pursued Max Crosby until the Ravens traded for him. Well, that trade came and went, and he's back at the Raiders now. he aggressively pursued Nakobe Dean, but Dean wanted to play with his homie in Vegas. Pause. Jerry Jones did go after the players that the fan base wanted, but in the end, they weren't available to us, Cowboys Nation. They chose the different team, Cowboys Nation. I mean, could he circle back and continue to go after Max Crosby? Of course. Who says that he's not? Also, who's saying that he has to? If it were up to me, I would rather have 2 edge rushers that could get the team 8 sacks apiece and that could also pressure the quarterback instead of 1 player that could get me 12 while also pressuring the quarterback. That elite player would never come off the field, meaning that he would have a high potential to be gassed toward the end of the season. But in the end, Cowboys Nation, I feel that the Dallas Cowboys has gotten better as a whole on paper. We have yet to see what this team looks like while practicing or in pads or out on the field. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt right now. I'll continue to give Christian Parker the benefit of the doubt because honestly, I feel this Dallas Cowboys team has something cooking this year. I'm not saying Super Bowl, Cowboys Nation, but I am saying it'll put us in a situation to make it to the dance. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan. Cowboys Nation, what do you feel about what Shan RJ and Bobby Belt had to say on 105.3 The Fans, Shan and RJ? Do you feel that the Dallas Cowboys defense has gotten better or worse this offseason? Y'all know how we do. We always talk about it in the comments section. If you're digging this content and you want to help the channel reach its current goal of 20,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video, share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and if you're on your mobile device and you haven't used them up yet, make sure you hype this video. Doing so will help get this content out to even more Dallas Cowboys fans. They'll come over to the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel and want to become Angry Cowboys fans themselves. And if you are DC for life and you're allowing things to play out before you pass judgment on the team's success this year, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release another video, podcast episode, or film breakdowns. You can catch the Madden 26 or College Football 26 gameplay on the other channel, the Angry Cowboys Fan Gaming Channel. I'll make sure I put the link to that as well as the gamer tag in the description. The Dallas Cowboys still have a chance to continue to make this team better. Let's continue to be selectively aggressive so that our Dallas Cowboys can display the same intensity out on the field. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys fan, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan Podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.